my name's Kevin Hicks. Welcome to the History Squad. Now in today's video we're going to have a look at what a bowman would have carried, what he would have worn when he goes to battle in the medieval times. In my case, probably late medieval, War of the Roses. So let's see what we find. So first of all, the way I'm dressed, I've got my archer's cap, nice long leather boots. I'm a mounted bowman, a padded jack, lots of mail. I've got no protection on my arms. I've got 2 sheaves of arrows on my back, so I'm ready to go into battle. A few of my favourite arrows here. These are quite heavy bodkins. Let's see how they go. Well, not too bad at all. I'm going to have another one of those. Yeah, they seem to go in the right direction. Pulling slightly to the right, and I think that's the bow pulling me. So last one for now. There you go, he's dead. So, me kit, right? I've got a basic linen shirt, I've got this padded jack, all that chainmail as I've said. My shooting glove. I always have a glove here because the fletchings literally do rip right through your knuckle. In fact, some years ago, I had a fletching come loose. It went into my knuckle and then came out a little bit way up my finger. I can tell you that hurt. Now, a bracer here. This is just a piece of horn from a cow. It's Jesus' help in the old Greek, so I understand. I have my purse where I would keep my little bit of gold if I had any. And then, as a sidearm, I've got a sword on here, tucked away, but there might be other things that you could use. You might have a hatchet, you might have an axe, but I'll show you those in a little while. My favourite arrows are tucked in. My crucifix here, or my cross. I've got to be a Christian, otherwise I'll be in big trouble. An archer's pick. This is a nasty piece of kit. I've used it many times before. This can be levered in through a man's clothing, or it can be hammered in through the armour direct. It is particularly for the bowman. But if you see the back, you can see I've got 2 bags of arrows, 2 sheaves of arrows. Now I'm going to put my favourite arrows, these lovely bodkins, down and show you a bag of arrows. Protects the arrows, keeps them dry. Obviously, if I was going into battle, they'd already be unwound. We know they used a leather spacer. There he is, further down. Keeping all the arrows separate. I've got some different ones here. So, 2 bags of arrows, 48, 24 in each, plus any spares I might carry. So let's lay this down a second. What's in my little leather bag? You always see, in the pictures, you see that the bowman will have various little bits. So in here, I thought I'd just put aside 1 or 2 things that a bowman may have carried. One thing in here which I actually love. Wax, beeswax. This I haven't used yet. I'll make a groove in it and it'll wear it through. And I'll be able to wax my string, no problems at all. So that's important. I'll put him on the outside. I've got my medieval whistle here. I keep it in an old sock. It's great, isn't it? So there he is. This has been with me now for 30 years. Dropped down the steps at Chepstow Castle, smashed, and I glued it all back together again. Put him back so he's safe. And simply a spoon. A bowl. A cup. Dice. Some needles. But most importantly, now this normally would be kept against your chest. It will be kept inside your shirt to keep it warm. I'll show you what it is in a minute. Now here, this is a medieval pricker. They didn't have forks. And an eating knife. Now, I must be some form of a decent status really to have that, because that's kind of posh stuff, we would call it in England. And a comb, made of bone. But let's put the bowl and everything back. I want to show you what's wrapped up in the rag. This is kindling, flint, and a steel. And what you do is you simply strike the steel against the flint until it sparks, and then with a bit of luck it'll ignite the kindling. You can make fire. You can just about see some of the sparks flying off as I strike that steel against the flint. So as I say, your flint and steel really should be kept either in a tin if you can afford one, or wrapped up in a nice piece of cloth and kept on the inside of your shirt. But for this demo, I'm just putting it in the bag. So some of the sidearms that a bowman would have carried. A falchion. I've shown these before. This is nothing more than a machete for machete chopping people down. It's very common, and this one is very, very basic. So it's a used up blade, got a new handle put on it, and a cross guard. And it's perfect. If you're in close quarter combat, a sword is too long. So this is perfect. You keep him close up, chop, chop, or slice from underneath. A nasty piece of work, but yeah, I call it a falchion. I've heard it pronounced falchion. Well, I don't care. It's just a falchion to me. Another piece is a billhook. This is close quarter combat again. It's nasty, slicing horses' bellies, all of those kind of things. But also, if you've got your sharpened stake in the ground, you've hammered it in, so you've taken the nub off. So you've got to literally resharpen it. And the billhook is actually perfect for this. And I'll tell you, it's interesting, isn't it? I'm in a sandpit, but the bottom of the sandpit is clay. And trying to knock this into the ground, not easy at all. So I can imagine those bowmen at Agincourt, soft ground, not bad. But now later on in other battles, I do know the bowmen had trouble getting these into the ground at a cost, because you're going to stand behind this or in amongst it. You got your hatchet, right? Just a small hatchet, tuck it in your belt. Perfect. This as well can cut the wood, but also close quarter. And one of these, this is a maul, and it's just a lump of wood to knock these in. And believe you me, it works. This kind of thing, you got the biggest member of the team, not the team, you've got the biggest member of your company, he can carry it, and this will actually knock stuff in. I'm glad I'm not the biggest member of my company. In fact, I'm the only member of my company thinking about it. But this would be a handy tool. Can you imagine being a knight in armour and you're in the battlefield and some hulking great bowman suddenly appears with 11 other guys, there's 12 of you, and you're all armed to the teeth with all those different weapons, and you see the big beggar with this, yeah? What are you going to do? You're going to go in, aren't you? They people didn't really run away, but there again, crunch. Yeah, just on a little thing there, as a bowman, if you ran away, it costs you your life. So stand and fight. Just one other thing I forgot to mention, what a bowman wears or carries inside his cap, apart from his head, of course. Bowstrings. Oh, I've got 3 spare bowstrings in there. So if one of my bowstrings snaps, I've simply got the spare, nice, warm, dry, in my hat. The rain can't get at it. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to pick up my favourite arrows. Shove them in my belt. I think I'll have a little shoot while I'm here. I've put one in the head. These are all brand new arrows that I've made. So let's have a see. Yeah, definitely pulling to the right, but that's probably me. Yeah, just a little bit of compensation there. And they're pretty much on target. Yep, he's dead. Oops, he's really dead. Yep, he's dead. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little video there on what the archer carried. If you did, like, share and subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel further, why not have a look at joining our Patreon community? We have some fun. But before I go, a quick shout out to some of my Patreon members. John Hawkwood, #1 fan. Robert Braschini and Christoph Haupt. Sounds a little German to me, which is good because I love Germany. Wiedersehen. Bye for now.